Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. And today is Saturday, there are very less number of articles which are relevant from our examination point of view because there is no opinion page and as well as text and context. Okay, first of all let us see the important topics of the day. First one is India flags attacks on minorities in Bangladesh. So actually you know about what is the political instability, political turmoil which is happening in this Bangladesh, and we were discussing that from last around 7 to 10 days onwards. So we are going to revise that what is happening in this Bangladesh, and here we have to see why this minority attacks are happening in this Bangladesh, why India condemned this. It is very important from your GS paper to under international relations. So here what you have to see, Bangladesh is seen highly in news and UPSC is having a tendency to ask questions regarding map. So they may ask questions regarding which of the following states of India is sharing boundary with Bangladesh. That is the first area. And second one here is we have many rivers which are flowing between India and Bangladesh. You may get a question regarding that rivers which are sharing between India and Bangladesh. That is the second area you can expect a question. Okay. And next second article here is Center raises H1B visa interview cancellation issue with US. Recently, you know that after Trump came into power from this 2.0 era, lots of issues which are going with between India and US. Even in yesterday's class, when we discussed about foreign policy between India and US, we discussed about this H1B visa. And again, today this H1B visa is in news. We have to see what is that. And here you can expect directly a prelims based question. So question go in this way, like consider the following statements regarding H1B visa. They may give you like 3 to 4 statements and they may ask you which of the above statements are correct or which of the statements are correct or incorrect. And next one here is, apart from this H1B visa, US is also giving other visas. So you may get pair based question, list 1 and list 2. In list 1 you will be getting different types of visa, and the list 2 for what purpose they are providing. So in this way, two formats of questions you can guess here. And next one here is invasive mosquito species threatens India's 2030 malaria elimination goal. So this article is saying that one mosquito which is not in India, which came from other countries, which is adapting in our urban areas, and it is causing increasing of malaria cases in urban areas. So here you may get a question regarding directly malaria or else malaria elimination strategy 2030, two areas. And next one here is it is talking about mosquito. So here mosquito is a vector which causes many diseases, and again you can expect a pair based question. On one side they'll give you the list of mosquitoes and another side they'll give you the diseases which are caused by that mosquito. So in this way you can expect three types of questions from this single article from your prelims. And this topic is important from science and technology from GS paper 3. And next topic is healthcare does not need the PPP route. So actually AP government is coming up with this PPP model in this healthcare. So what is this PPP? Public private partnership. That means not only government, even they're allowing this private sector to work along with this government so that we can improve this health sector. So there is one article which is saying that PPP is not needed in this healthcare. So here we have to understand what is this PPP and different types of PPP models in India. On that already UPSC asked question earlier, and there's a very high chance of getting question regarding types of PPP model in your prelims. And next from mains point of view, you have to see why we should not allow this private sector in this healthcare, and what are the problems we are going to get and what is the way forward. So this topic is important from your prelims and as well as mains point of view from your GS paper to under governance, and as well as this PPP models you will be seeing in your economy from GS paper 3. And next topic is child marriages. Directly there is one lead article in your editorial which talks about this increasing of child marriages in our country. So here you have to see about what are the laws present in India which is preventing these child marriages, and what are the reasons for these child marriages, and what can be done in future to control these child marriages. So these are the important topics of the day that we are going to see in this class. And at last, I'll be giving you UPSC prelims based practice questions also. Online students, please don't skip this video anywhere. Please do watch until last so that you will be getting lots of insights regarding how the question can be framed and as well as how you have to approach that kind of questions, everything. Okay, now guys, look at the title. India flags attacks on minorities in Bangladesh. So first of all, you have to know who are those minorities. What is the meaning of minority? I think you might have studied in your society. So if you're talking about this Bangladesh, it is an Islamic country, right? So which is a majority group there? Muslims are the majority group there. And who are minorities in this Bangladesh? Hindus, Christians, Buddhist, other religion people will become minorities. So actually what is happening here is why India is condemning this kind of attacks. India is a Hindu based country, right? And these Hindus are becoming minorities in Bangladesh. So what is happening now? So on this Hindus, the attacks are happening in Bangladesh. So because of this, what happened? There is fear, there is anger, there is security concerns which are raised in Bangladesh. So because of this, now these minorities are trying to come outside this Bangladesh. So because of this, India is having certain cause of concerns regarding illegal migration. Okay, so because of this article title is saying that India is showing certain concerns regarding attacks on minorities in Bangladesh. Clear? So here you have to understand who are these minorities and which is a majority population in this Bangladesh, and you have to see about India's minorities and India's majority and why India is having certain kind of concerns. So just by reading this title itself, you have to identify what exactly this article is going to say. So if you are understanding in that way, understand this content will become very easy, and from UPSC point of view, now we will think in different perspectives. Okay, just seeing title, you have to understand what exactly this article is talking about. Okay, now let us see the context. India raised concerns over more than 2,900 documented violent incidents which are targeting minorities. So actually from 2024 onwards till today, around 2,900 documented incidents which are documented, and we don't know like how many incidents which are not being documented. So because of this, India is showing concerns. Why? Because of this reservation policy. What is this reservation policy of this Bangladesh? Already we know that in 1971 India-Pakistan war, Bangladesh had been liberated. And after once this Bangladesh became an independent country, now Bangladesh government came up with a policy of reservation under which government is providing reservation for education as well as jobs for the people who had been participated in this 1971 war. To remove that, in 2024, there were protests which had been done by this present generation Gen Z against the government, and finally that led to replacing of this earlier Sheikh Hasina government with now interim government by this Muhammad Yunus. You know about all those story, right? Okay, from that time onwards, from when this Muhammad Yunus took power of this Bangladesh, from that time onwards till today, around 2,900 documented minority attacks happened. So because of this, India is showing certain cause of concern regarding this incident. And attacks includes killings, land grabs, vandalism against Hindus, Christians, Buddhists. They are done by extremists. Okay, now you have to see what are exactly the reasons behind this kind of minority attacks. If you see the reasons, the first one is there is resurgence of Islamist groups and radical elements. After once the Sheikh Hasina government was removed in this Bangladesh, now extremist radical groups, Islamist groups, they had been raised. So because of this, what is happening? These groups now they are targeting on this minorities in this Bangladesh. That is the first important reason. And next one here is the attacks on these minorities has been increased, often tied to false blasphemy accusations or revenge killings. So do you know about this blasphemy? One person is criticizing another person's religion. That is called as blasphemy. So what is happening here? Majority or Islam, minority or Hindus, Christians, etc. So what is happening? There is changing of religion. So what is happening here is there is some accusations that Christian person is insulting Islam, or Hindu person is insulting Islam or holy books, saying something against or saying something wrong about opposite person's religion. That kind of instance is called as blasphemy, and they are citing this kind of blasphemy reasons, and this majority people are attacking this minority people in this Bangladesh. That is the second important reason. And next one here is mostly the attacks are happening against Hindus because earlier government is Sheikh Hasina government, always is Sheikh Hasina government is favor towards India. India is Hindu majority country. So because of this now Islam, that is nothing but Muslims in this Bangladesh, they are targeting this Hindus. And next one here is even recently one leader of the students who fought against the Sheikh Hasina government had been shot dead. You know that. So because of that reason also, they are targeting now minorities in this Bangladesh. So these are the major reasons why this kind of attacks are happening in this Bangladesh. And even there is also one accusation that JEI, that is Jamaat-e Islami group, are also increasing. So because of this also they are attacking this minorities in this Bangladesh. So these are the major reasons. And what is the impacts of this kind of minority attacks? The first one here is whatever the relations we have with Bangladesh, it is going to be getting strained. So diplomatic talk can happen between India and Bangladesh. That is the first important impact. And next one here is there will be also anti-India sentiment will be rising in this Bangladesh. And as you all know, in the next year, February, they are going to have elections in this Bangladesh. So this kind of incidents will affect free and fair elections in Bangladesh. And next one here is humanitarian crisis. There is increased fear among minorities and even erosion of secularism in Bangladesh. And many a times what happens because of this fear, these people will come outside of this Bangladesh to save their life. And what happens, it may also leads to illegal migration into India. So these are the possible impacts of this kind of minority attacks in Bangladesh. Clear? But here you have to focus on map of Bangladesh. So see here different states of India which is sharing boundary with Bangladesh, and even rivers which are flowing between India and Bangladesh, guys. And even you may get question regarding minorities and even Citizenship Amendment Act also. Okay, so all these areas that you have to be very focused for this 2026 prelims. Okay, now let us see the next article. Look at the title. Center raises H-1B visa interview cancellation issue with US. So what is H-1B visa? US government will be providing this H-1B visa, right? So especially Indians and as well as Chinese people, they are most advantaged to this H-1B visa. So first of all, what is H-1B visa? You have to know that. For example, there is company in US. So this is US, and US there is one company, and this company want to recruit people from outside of US. Why outside of US? If you're recruiting people from outside of US, this company can pay less amount for them. Yes or no? This company can pay less amount. So because of this, what happened? There will be increasing of profit for this US company. And as you all know that we have many MNCs, multinational company. The parent branch will be present in one country and small branches will be there in our other countries, right? For example, you can take examples of McDonald's, McD. So like that, they are like MNCs. So parent company will be there in one country, but they will create sub branches in different countries. For example, if there is a parent branch in US and there is one sub branch in India, for example, there is sub branch in China. So if they want to bring these employees in this company, employees are working very good and there is increased efficiency, productivity in that company. So if they want to launch any new project here, if they want this talent which is present in China or India, so this company can bring that workers in their company back to US. So without visa, US will not be allowing other country people to enter, right? So now what this US company will do is, so US company will go to US government and ask that I want to bring this person, please give me visa. That visas are called as H-1B visa, and this H-1B visa will be given by US government to bring the employees from other countries for temporary period only, not for permanent. Only for 1 month or 2 months or 6 months or 1 year till the project is done. So now US government will be giving permission for other country people to enter into US and work in US companies. So this kind of visas is called as H-1B visa. So recently what happened, you know, after this Trump 2.0 era started, Trump tightened this H-1B visa. So what are the measures taken by this Trump? Trump said that if any company wants to bring any country's employees to work in their company, if they want to apply for H-1B visa, at a time they have to pay $1 lakh rupees. Earlier it was just $4,000 only, but suddenly after this Trump 2.0 era started, he said that $1 lakh that company has to pay to US government to give this H1B visa. So because of this, what happens now? This company will not pay this $1 lakh. Rather than that, what this company will do? So whoever the employees which are there in this US, this company will be hiring them for that project. So what is this Trump policy here? Trump focuses on especially protectionist policy. He is always saying that Americans should work for America. So America is for Americans only. We will not allow other countries to work in India. Why? Because they want to increase employment opportunities, and as well as Trump wants to ensure that yes, America is for Americans. Okay, so because of this policy, recently H1B visa restrictions happened. So that is the first important thing. And second one, what is happening here is, if you want to get this H1B visa also, you have to go and you have to attend interviews. Now what is the second problem here is, there is delaying of H1B interviews in India. So because of this, what happened? This is a second step taken by US to control H1B visa. Okay. So first one you already know, increased fee by this US government to restrict H1B visa entrance into US. And second one here is, now even they are delaying this H1B visa interviews in India. So this is the cause of concern between India and US related to this H1B visa. So here you may get a question regarding H1B visa directly. Apart from that, even there are other visas like H4 visa, next one is E visa, L visa, K visa, like that. There are different kinds of visas will be provided. You have to see that. I will be showing you that. Okay, now let us see exactly what is happening and what is the reason behind it. But you have to keep this H1B visa in your mind. That is nothing but, if US companies wants to bring any employers from other countries to work in their companies, they have to apply for this H1B visa. For that, US companies has to pay certain amount to the US government, so that US government will issue this H1B visa. But recently, increasing of restrictions on this H1B visa is happening. It is one cause of concern. And because of this increased restrictions, two countries are getting affected. One is India, second one is China. Because Indians and as well as Chinese, they will get around 80 to 90% of this H1B visas. So because of this restrictions, these two countries are getting affected. So this is just some background that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, now let us see the context. India's Ministry of External Affairs flagged concerns to US over mass cancellation of pre-scheduled H1B and H4 interviews. Thousands of Indians, they are going to get this H1B visa and as well as H4 visas. So they have to attend interviews to get this. So what is happening now? US is cancelling these interviews of this H1B and as well as H4 visas. So because of this, now our External Affairs Ministry is showing certain concerns. So what happened here is, US State Department expanded online presence review. So here, I think I already said this point. I don't know whether you can recall it or not. What did I say is, if you want to get visa, not only student visa, not only H1B visa, any visa, now they are clearly checking your social media accounts. Can you recall this point? I said this earlier. So the reason which mainly said by this US State Department is, we are going for social media and digital footprint vetting. That means nothing but they are clearly checking your social media accounts. Why? Because you are saying that if you are doing any anti-US kind of statements or anti-national statements, that will be affecting the national security of US. So because of this, they are doing this clear-cut social media and digital footprint vetting for all this H1B visa and H4 applicants. So because of this, it is getting late. That is the first reason which mainly said by US now. We are detailedly scrutinizing, screening your social media accounts. And next one here is, they are going for screen for national security and public safety risk, including attitude towards US. What kind of attitude they are having towards US? Have they posted any post or any messages or any replies regarding anti-US, or whether they are having any connection with terrorism or not? They are checking all this through proper scrutinizing your social media accounts. And next one here is, They are going for slow processing, and even they are forcing consulates to interview fewer applicants per day. So normally they are doing interview for 10 to 15 members per day. Now what US is doing is US is increasing restrictions on these consulants, and they are saying that just do 5 to 7 interviews per day. So here there is number of interviews per day is also decreasing. And this one here is as a part of Trump administration changes, include like ending H-1B visa lottery for skilled wage-based selection and prior $1 lakh fee hike. So here it is the part of Trump implications. So Trump wants to focus on increasing of the protectionism policy. So because of this, all these things are doing. First one is increasing of fee. Next one here is they are scrutinizing your social media accounts, and even they are checking for the national security, and if you made any statements regarding anti-US or not in your social media accounts, and do you have any connection with the terrorism or not, they are citing the reason that is national security. And next one here is they're also forcing these consulates to interview less number per a day. So because of all these things, what is happening here, interview is delaying. So because of this, what is happening, the appointments, everything is getting delayed. So because of this, our external affairs is showing certain concerns towards US, and they're going to have a meet and they'll be talking about this, and we have to wait and watch what will happen in future. And next one here is impacts. What is the impacts here? Because of this delaying and as well as cancellation of interviews, thousands of Indians, they will be not getting visa on time. Yes or no? And here US jobs they can lose because they will be having certain time period. In that time period only they have to do that project, right? Especially if you're from IT sector, you will be knowing about the projects and how much time they will give you to complete that. So if you're not getting visa on time, obviously you will be getting the issue regarding that. And next one here is H4 visa, right? H4 visa, it is about the spouses or dependents on of this H1B visa. So if I am going on this H1B visa, if I want to take my spouse and my children, I have to apply H4 visa for my dependents. So here what is happening here? Dependents are also not getting visa now. So because of the social relations, family bonds, all will be getting affected. And even there will be increasing of mental tensions in the families because of this H4 visa cancellation. And next one here is employers in this tech and other sectors who are reliant on this H1B workers will be getting affected. And obviously it will be having impact on India-US relations. Okay, so in that way, we will be having certain impacts because of this. If you want, you can make a note of this different types of visas. On this, you can get a question. Okay. Okay, let us see one by one. First one is B1 visa. B1 visa is for business visitors. B1 visa is for business visitors. Next one is E1 visa for treaty traders. E2 visa for treaty investors. So remember, B is for business, right? So B for business, E is related to trade, treaty related something, and H is related to especially temporary workers from outside of US. H in this H1B we have, H2B we have, and H4 we have. H1B is for temporary workers, and for non-agriculture workers we can get this H2B, and it is for skilled workers. And H4 is for spouses of temporary workers. Spouses of this H1B or H2B visas, you will be getting this H4 visas. And I visa for journalists and media representatives. For example, if you are having any summit in US, if Indian journalists are going to US, for them, which visa they need? I visa. I visa for journalists and as well as media representatives. And J visa for trainees and AU pairs. That means if you are doing any documentation, if you are doing your PhD here, and if you want to study in some community in US, as a trainee, you have to use this J visa. Next one is K visa. It is for US citizens. So already they become US citizens. If you are a fiance or if you are a spouse of that US citizens, if you want to go to US, you have to take this K visa. Okay, next one is L visa. L visa for intercompany transferees. If you are transferring from one company to another company in US, you have to get this L1 visa. Next one is O visa for extraordinary abilities like artists, athletes, scientists. If you are going to perform in any concert or any kind of events, you need to get this O visa from US. Next one is P visa for athletes, entertainers, group performers, and next one is R visa for religious workers. So in this way, US government will be providing different visas, and you may get a question regarding this, and you have to remember this for sure, guys. Huh? Yeah, tourist visa also there. So please make a note of that tourist visa. And even for yeah, it is there. If you want to take any movie or shoot any movie in US also, you need to have this kind of visa. That comes on a tourist visa only. Okay, now let us see the next article, guys. Look at the title. Title says invasive mosquito species threatens India's 2030 malaria elimination goal. So what is this malaria? What happens in this malaria? Have you heard this word malaria? Malaria is nothing but fever caused by what? Caused by bacteria or virus? It is caused by parasite. What is the name of that parasite? Plasmodium, right? And how many types of parasites we have? Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, and one more is Plasmodium malariae. So like that we have 4 types of Plasmodium which causes malaria. And if you see about this life cycle of malaria, half life cycle will be there in mosquito and half life cycle will be there in humans. So what happens whenever mosquito comes and bites you, that sporozoites will enter into your body, and first they reach which organ? Liver. In the liver, the growth of this parasite will happen, and slowly it will go into the blood, and in the blood whatever the RBCs we have, and this parasite will be now breaking this RBC. So because of this breaking of RBC only, what happens? You will be getting chills in this malaria. And if you have been observed about this malaria, so it is similar type. If you are getting chills today at 4 a.m. or 4 p.m., next day also you will be getting chills at the same time only. That is a one significant sign that you got this malaria. Okay, and which mosquito causes this malaria? We have different mosquitoes. We have Andes mosquito, Culex mosquito, Anopheles mosquito. Which mosquito causes this malaria? Female Anopheles mosquito. Why only female? Why not male? Why only female? Why not male? Female. Okay, which will be laying eggs, male or female? Female will be laying eggs. And if you want to incubate the eggs, what we need? We need certain temperature. Yes or no? Have you ever seen brooding of hens in the home? So they need effective temperature. At that temperature only eggs will be converted into the chicks. So in the same way, in this female malaria also, it wants to maintain good temperature for the eggs. For that, it will be feeding on this human blood, and human blood is warm blood, right? So it can provide proper temperature for the eggs of the next generation of that mosquito. But male will be eating only the nectar. As bees will collect nectar, no, in the same way, male mosquitoes will be feeding on the juices of the plant, but not the human blood. Only the females will be sucking the blood. And what are the mosquitoes which are biting you? They are female mosquitoes, not male mosquitoes. Okay, so here what happened here is we have a new mosquito species. Invasive means nothing but that is not commonly present in that environment, but accidentally or something happened. Because of that, we brought that into the new environment. So if you are bringing anything into the new environment, what happens? There are no competitors for that. So there will be rapid reproduction, increasing of its number at a very high number. So what is happening in India is there is one mosquito called as Anopheles stephensi. You can remember Stephens. There is one movie, no? In that movie, villain name is Stephens. What is that movie? Dawn movie. Very good. In that Dawn movie, villain name is Stephen. In that way, you can remember Anopheles stephensi. So Anopheles stephensi is a mosquito which is invasive and it adopted to live in urban areas. So because of this, what is happening? This Anopheles stephensi is spreading this malaria in urban areas. So if there is increasing of malaria cases, can we achieve this target of elimination of malaria? So that is this topic is about. So here you have to see certain facts regarding this malaria, and as well as you have to see mosquito species and which disease it is causing, and you have to see what is invasive species. That is a topic in your environment. Okay. Now let us see what exactly given in this article. Anopheles stephensi, a highly efficient urban malaria vector which is native to South Asia, has been spreading rapidly in Indian cities, especially in new areas like metropolitan regions. Since 2010 onwards, there is high prevalence of this stephensi mosquito in states of Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan and UP. And recently, one study highlighted that this mosquito is adapting in construction pits and as well as overhead tanks and even drains in urban areas. So because of this, there is increased urban malaria transmission in India. And it is reported that from 2015 to 2023, there is certain number of decreasing of malaria cases, but in some areas there is increased reporting of cases because of this Anopheles stephensi. Okay. And now let us see the impacts. What happens whenever we are increasing its new type of mosquito species? Obviously, we cannot reach our target, that is India's 2030 malaria elimination goal. And this one here will be like there will be increasing of malaria cases in urban areas. Obviously, if you are not treating that malaria, that will lead to increasing of morbidity and mortality rates will be increased, and there will be increased burden on our healthcare system as well. And next one here is it will complicate our surveillance and as well as control methods, because if these mosquitoes they are becoming like pesticide resistant or whatever the things that we are using, what we'll use for killing of mosquito, we'll use good night all outs, and this municipality people will be using certain kind of smoke. You will be getting that kind of smoke normally in the evening times in Hyderabad, right? So what happens if this kind of insects which are like already resistant, will they die? No. Because of this, what is happening here? It is increasing of cases. So actually recently there is one study which said that most of these mosquitoes they had cohabiting with humans, and even they are resisting to this all outs good nights which are using in our country. So because of this, what is happening, there is increasing of Aedes mosquitoes. We discussed that in our earlier class, I think 1 month or 2 months ago. Aedes mosquito will bite in the daytime, not in the night time. So because of this, you will be getting dengue. So if you get dengue, the mosquito will not bite you in the night time. The mosquito will bite you in the daytime. Okay. So like that, what is happening here? Aedes mosquito started living along with the humans, especially in homes. We have certain racks. We'll place our clothes in that cells. What happened? They started living and they started laying of eggs in that areas only. So because of this, what is happening? There is increasing of dengue cases in these urban areas because of increasing of resistance towards this all out and as well as good night. And daytime will not use that. Only the night time will use that. Even mosquito bats or mosquito nets will use in the night time, but not in the daytime. So because of that also, earlier we discussed one article that Aedes mosquitoes population is increasing and it is causing increased dengue cases in urban areas. I don't know whether you can recall it or not, but I said that. And next here is, you have to see about different mosquito species. Please make a note. We have Anopheles mosquitoes. In this Anopheles, we have Anopheles gambiae, stephensi, funestus. They cause malaria. So simply write Anopheles mosquito causes malaria. Anopheles mosquito causes malaria. And we have Aedes mosquito. In this Aedes, we have Aedes aegypti, Aedes albopictus, which cause dengue, Zika, chikungunya, yellow fever. Aedes mosquito causes dengue, Zika, chikungunya, yellow fever. And next we have Culex. This Culex mosquito causes West Nile virus, filariasis, encephalitis. Okay, you may get this kind of questions. Which of the following diseases are spread by mosquito? Or else they will directly specially ask you Aedes mosquito. I think in your test one I gave one question. Did I give you the question regarding mosquitoes of current affairs? No? I think it is in next test. Okay, I linked one question. There is one question regarding mosquito in text current affairs test. Okay, see this next article guys, Social Scourge. So this article is talking about child marriages. So this article is saying that child marriages lead to poor outcomes in health, education, poverty alleviation. I think you might have studied detailedly in your classes. I think there is no need of explanation, but just I'll give you one idea. So India committed to end child marriages by 2030. Why it is 2030? We have United Nations Sustainable Development Goals target. So in this United Nations SDG target, one target is we have to end child marriages in India by 2030, and actually there is declining of child marriage in India to some extent. But even today in 2025 also this child marriage is persistent in some states. Which are those states? West Bengal, Bihar, Tripura, Jharkhand, AP, Assam, Telangana, MP and Rajasthan. Please see whether your state is there or not. AP, AP and Telangana. I think Karnataka is not there. Where is Nitin? Okay, see the details. So actually this article is saying that government came up with lots of steps like Beti Bachao, Beti Padao and as well as Bal Vivah Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. So actually this Bal Vivah Mukt Bharat Abhiyan is a 100 days awareness campaign and we are celebrating anniversary of this 100 days program. But even though we are not able to control this child marriages in our country, and this article is saying that there is direct correlation with poverty and education. Because of increased poverty and because of low levels of educational literacy, 40% of girls are going for this early child marriages. And if you see here, we have one act called as Prevention of Child Marriage Act of 2006. But even though we are not able to stop this child marriages in our country. AP guys, you will be getting this question in your interview. If you're saying that you are from AP, the first interview question will be tobacco. How can we control this tobacco? That is the first question, and you have to properly think about that regarding how can we control this tobacco use and as well as production, everything. And second one will be about this child marriage. So AP stands first. So what are the reasons for how can you control this? As a district collector, how can you bring change in the people? So like that, you will be getting interview questions in your interview regarding this topic, guys. You have to come up with a proper answer so that you can convince your interview panelist. So what are the reasons given in this article? First one is poverty, lack of education, health issues and gender inequality, etc. And this one is socio-economic disparities. There is lower wealth and as well as that is nothing but low wealth accumulation and as well as uneducated girls as per United Nations Population Fund analysis. And there are infrastructure gap. There is no proper transport for the girls to the schools and as well as poor school facilities. Even some schools, they don't have the proper washrooms, and especially girls after a certain age, they need for sure the washrooms to use. And next one here is fear of stringent laws like POCSO Act, which pushes underage girls to avoid formal help. So because of this POCSO Act also, many of them not aware about their rights and as well as their responsibilities. And next one here is there is cultural and as well as demographic factors. Because of the high population, they are going for early child marriages. And because of the societal pressures also, they are going for this early child marriages. So these are the major reasons. And what will be the impacts? So what happens whenever we are going for child marriage? That girl will become mother at a very small or young age. So because of this, there will be high maternal mortality rates and as well as child health will be also getting impacted. And next one here is underage girls seeks unregistered help because of legal fears and as well as increasing risk, etc. And this one is this kind of marriages will rob this girl child schooling opportunities. And this one here is that will further leads to increasing of poverty because poverty is a vicious cycle. And this one here is it will be having a lot of impact on entire society itself. And at the national level, it will be affecting our India's SDG targets. Okay, so these are the impacts. And what can be done? The first one is we have to address always the root causes. If you want to solve any problem, first we have to understand what is the root cause and we have to address that root cause. So root causes are poverty, education, health, gender inequality. We have to bridge them. And this one is we have to focus on implementation as well as enforcement. Not only implementation of law, but even if someone is not following that, we have to go for strict punishment. That is called as enforcement of law. We already having this Prevention of Child Marriage Act. We have to enforce that properly. And as well as we have to increase awareness of certain programs like Beti Bachao, Beti Padao, etc. And next one here is we have to give certain incentives for sending of the children. If any family who are sending their girl child to the colleges or schools, they need to get certain kind of scholarship or monthly stipend or some any kind of incentives to the parents. And next one here is we have to integrate our efforts towards SDGs with 9 goals, and we have to go for continuous awareness. So because of all these things, we can bring certain change in the society. And you people, you are going to be the future civil servants, and we have to focus a lot on this kind of issues, and you have to fight for that. And next topic is healthcare does not need PPP route. What is PPP? Public-private partnership. So actually nowadays you can see we have different kinds of hospitals. We have private hospitals and we have government hospitals. And these government hospitals are entirely run by this government only, and private hospitals, they will give good quality of services and they will be always profit motive. They will not focus on public service. But these government hospitals will provide treatment for free and they focus on public service. The profit is not the motive of this government hospitals. But what is happening in this AP is, in AP, they are going for new medical colleges and they are attaching with this district hospitals. They are coming up with this PPP models in Andhra Pradesh. So what is happening whenever we are allowing this private to mingle with government? Always this private people have only one motive: profit, profit, profit. Government will be having only one motive: service, service, service. So what happens? There will be the clash of attitude between private and as well as government. So that is the thing which mainly said by Union Health Secretary itself. Okay, now let us see the details. Why PPP is not required, cannot be suggested in this healthcare system here is, now why government is going with this PPP models? Because government is not having funds. Because of not having funds, now government is going for this PPP models. But government can also have certain instruments to raise funds. What can the government do? Government can raise funds through bonds, and as well as we have NABARD funding. In NABARD we have priority sector lending, right? So in that we can get some funds, and even we have central government schemes. So through this we can generate the profit. We cannot go for this private thing. That is the first reason we mainly said in this article. And next one here is India lacks strong regulatory institutions to enforce contracts. If you are coming up with this any PPP models, we have to have a proper contract. But in India, there is no proper contracts related to this PPP models, and even monitoring of these private partners is very, very difficult, and we cannot prevent these private entities to stop taking profit. So because of this, we cannot ensure welfare in these areas. So here we should not go for this PPPs. It is a second reason which mainly said by this health secretary. And next one here is PPP at this district level. They're going for this district level, which mainly disrupts vertical integration, which is needed for primary, secondary, and tertiary care. In hospitals, we have primary, secondary, and as well as tertiary. Primary is nothing but PHCs. So if you go to any village, we have a small PHC centers. And we have tertiary care. Tertiary care is nothing but multi-specialty hospitals. Normally, if you go to any area in Hyderabad, we have this multi-specialty hospitals. We have different specialties like gynecology, obstetricians, cardiology, neurology, like that. In one hospitals, we have different specialty, different kinds of services they will provide. So what is happening here is we are focusing on PPP at this district level. So because of this, primary will be connected to secondary, secondary will be connected to this tertiary. So this vertical integration which is needed for this healthcare system will be getting affected if you are introducing this at secondary level. So secondary level will be acting as a bridge between this tertiary and as well as primary. If in this area, if you are going for this private sector means, it will be disconnecting between these two, and this entire vertical sector will be getting affected. This is third reason. And this one here is, if you go for this PPPs in this healthcare, obviously we can have little confidence, but it will prioritize a profit over the public service. So always government has to focus on public welfare, not the profit. So because of these 4 reasons, now Chief Secretary of Health is saying that we should not go for this PPPs. Clear? And what are the impacts if you are going for this kind of PPPs in this health sector, there will be fragmentation in our healthcare sector. Obviously, government control will be reduces. Because of this, the long-term goals we cannot achieve in our country. That is the first important impact. And next one is obviously private sector will impose higher cost. For example, consultation fee, for example, for medicines, for tests, whatever it may be, they will be imposing high charges. What happens? Free services for poor. Can we provide that? We cannot. And that will lead to commercialization of essential healthcare in India. And next one here is quality. Obviously, sometimes if that so and so private people who are focusing on quality, we can improve the standards. But in case if there are any ego clashes between government and private after once they started this PPP model, if private they want to charge more for the quality, if government is not allowing to charge more, obviously what happen? There will be deterioration of this quality of services. Sometimes shortages can happen. And this one here is obviously it will lead to transfer of public assets to this private people. That is the one important problem. So that what happened, it will be having more burden, it will be increasing the burden on our future governments, and it will undermines our universal healthcare goals. Okay, so these are the things regarding this PPP. And what can be done? Rather than going for this PPPs, we can go for getting of funds by raising any bonds or getting any loans. Okay, and we can go for faculty pools through subsidized rates, and we can ensure doctors work in rural and public hospitals via incentives. So actually what is the problem here? So government doctor will be working in this government hospital, and after his work he will be having his own private clinic. And what happens in the government hospital, if he is treating any patients, he'll call him to this private so and so clinic, and he will be operating there everything. So he wants to maximize his profits. Rather than that, we have to give proper incentives for the doctors who are working in this area, and we should keep a strict restrictions that you have to work only in this government, not in outside. And we can go for raising of funds alternatively, and we have to prioritize on quality over the quantity. And next point here is we have to strengthen the proper regulation, and always we have to focus on the core issues in this healthcare. So if you are focusing on this, obviously we can improve the healthcare sector in our country. Okay, now let us see the practice questions. I came up with only 3 questions today. Yeah, look at the questions and answer these questions. First one is match a mosquito genus with primary disease. So in this way you can get a question. First one is Anopheles mosquito. Aedes, dengue, Zika, chikungunya, Culex, West Nile virus, and Japanese encephalitis. Check in your books and tell me. Kranti, chap. Anopheles, malaria. Culex, Culex, West Nile virus and encephalitis. Aedes, dengue, Zika, and chikungunya. Right or wrong? A is right. 1 is right. 2, 3. Answer is 1, 2 and 3 all. Option D is right. I think you're not able to see this. 1, 2 and 3 all is right. Okay. And say this next question. With reference to criticisms of adopting PPP in healthcare, consider the following statements. Long-term private concessions transfers public assets without necessity as alternatives like government bonds exist. And next one, PPP is essential because governments cannot raise funds through NABARD or central schemes for health sector. Is government cannot raise the funds or not? Government can raise if they want. What about the statement? It risks commercialization of medical education and reduces equitable access for poor. That is the point that we discussed. So 3 is right, 2 is wrong. So option here is 1 and 3 only. So even if you don't know one statement, try to eliminate one so that you will come with the right answer. Now say this next question. Consider the following statements regarding US visa categories. First one, non-immigrant visas are intended for temporary stays such as tourism, study and temporary work. Come on. Next one, immigrant visas lead to permanent residency. That is nothing but green card in US. If you have seen many movies, they'll be saying, I have green card, I want to marry a person who is having green card. No idea. And next one, the H-1B visa is an immigrant visa for skilled workers seeking permanent employment. Think, think. Which statement is right and which statement is wrong? Third one is wrong. Why? It is for temporary. I said clearly that it is not for permanent, it is for temporary. So 3 is wrong. And 1 is obviously right because that is a left. Second one, you have to rethink again. Immigrant visas lead to permanent. If you're staying so and so years there without any case on you, obviously you can apply for green card. So this is right. So correct option is B, 2, 1 and 2 only. So like that you have to do your questions clearly, guys. That's all, students. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends, and do subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy. Don't forget. And if you want to get this PDF of this class, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is given in description box. And even you can follow us on our Instagram page where we are providing current affairs in short, mains question with model answer, and also prelims question with answer, guys. Don't forget. Thank you so much. And one more thing, guys, today we are going to have Zoom meet at 7 p.m. and if you want to talk to me directly, you can register and you'll be getting link by 6:30 p.m. guys. Thank you so much.